a key part of this proposal is for workers in insecure jobs to be given portable entitlements so they can take benefits like sick leave, annual leave, long service leave with them when they start a new job. Is that doable from your perspective?
It's a recipe for these jobs to become insecure. This is a recipe for casual workers to have less opportunities for work, for small business people to come into the businesses themselves because they're not going to pay extra to get the same job done. And it's a recipe for fewer of our young people to get a start in their careers. And this stuff really risks harming them for decades to come. Just to put a bit of a practical example, say I've got a shop and I've got 2 school kids or young people that come in and help me a couple of days a week, casually. What this will force the employer to do is either probably practically choose between them and create one part-time job or neither of them. And what you ask yourself a question, do school kids value money or would they like to see money going into some fund for the future, some huge union-controlled mega fund that would be assembled as they are in a number of industries in some of the state level? This is just a very old-fashioned idea to a non-problem, and it's the opposite of what we need to be doing to recover and navigate the next very difficult period in our economy and for jobs. These are just the wrong ideas.
But insecure work is a real problem in this country. There is some precedent for this, isn't there? I understand that construction workers in some states already have the option to go down this path.
Well, let me react to the first part of that. It is an absolute lie to say that casual employment in this country is growing. Unions, political parties, everybody knows that the data on casual employment is dead stable. They know that the data on labour hire employment is dead stable, and they know that contracting is dead stable. It's tradies that these people are describing as insecure. So insecure work is not increasing. It's a concocted problem and a concocted slogan. But to go to the second part, yes, there are unique things in the construction industry because buildings complete, jobs finish. So yes, they've had portable entitlements for many years, but it's created a huge, huge fund, an opportunity for union control and union directors to have a lot of say in how that's spent. And frankly, the cost of a lot of those entitlements could have been returned to the industry through self-funding, and it's never been done, as I understand it.
When you look at the cost of all of this, and this is something that Anthony Albanese has rejected from the criticism we've seen from the government already, the government's saying this could cost $20 billion to business. Is there actually any modelling behind that? I mean, have you done any modelling to suggest exactly how much that sort of idea would cost business? Because Labor's saying that the government may as well have plucked that figure out of a cereal box, that this isn't a concrete policy as yet. This is something that, they're investigating, essentially.
Well, we've not done modelling. We only heard about this yesterday like everybody else. And that actually is the point. Contrast the two. The government spent about 4 months listening to unions, listening to employers, and came up with the bill that's currently in our parliament. The first we heard of these ideas from the opposition yesterday was reading them in the paper or hearing the speech last night. So these are lacking a fundamental level of consultation with the business community and the people that are really at the forefront of keeping Australians in work. But as to the $20 million, no, we've not.
So, Scott, that's the point, isn't it? They're floating this as an idea and are now going to be investigating further to come up with a concrete policy. They're really at the start of this. This isn't something that they've outlined as, full-blown policy at this point.
Well, if you're going to create portable entitlements, that means employers paying for sick leave, public holidays, annual leave and long service leave from the first day of employment. And actually, that last one's quite an important one. Presently, you only get long service leave if you deliver long service. If you make every one of 12.5 million employees get long service leave paid on every hour of work, that is a massive increase in labour costs in this country for no productive return, and at a time where we need to be supporting job creators, not pricing jobs out of their reach. And can I,
speaking of the difference,
if I could just jump in, it's not $20 billion. It's $20 billion plus a refusal to pass the legislation that's going to fix a $39 billion problem, or an up to $39 billion problem on casual employment. So the opposition has said it will not provide certainty to employers with a massive liability hanging over their head. And then the answer is to create another one. So you can see why we're concerned.
I can see, certainly why you are concerned and you're raising these concerns, and Labor obviously at the beginning of crafting this policy, so we'll be watching closely as to what the final form of that is. I do just want to ask you, you alluded to the tough times we're in. Obviously, this is a very difficult time for both employees and employers as they do navigate the pathway out of the COVID pandemic. The Treasury Secretary, Stephen Kennedy, has told an inquiry today that while employment rates of over 35s is back to pre-COVID levels, when you look at 15 to 34-year-olds, we're still looking at 2 to 3% below those pre-COVID levels. How are you expecting those statistics to move around once JobKeeper does end next month?
Well, gee, we hope they stay on the right trajectory, but there's a lot we can't know. And when JobKeeper ends, some businesses are going to end and no longer be viable. And we're facing a lot of uncertainty. The Prime Minister spoke quite rightly today about a lot of business confidence, and you just reeled off the performance of our labour market. But if we don't think that we're still under epidemiological threat, if we don't think that we're not under geopolitical threat from the huge outbreaks in Europe and the US, and that the world economy may not yield tougher times in Australia, then we'd be kidding ourselves. We need to be fit for a period of ongoing uncertainty and risk, and that's why we need industrial relations policies which support us in navigating that, support employers and employees working together, not try to turn employees into something that they didn't choose to be.
Scott Barklamb from the Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Appreciate you joining us. Thank you.
Real pleasure, Ash. Thank you.